Yeah.
Hey, you've got this part of the video. You've got the live unedited edition. Home Gadget Geeks, Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Central in the Central Time Zone. It's the 12th of February, 2026. If you're watching this any other time than that, you've got the recorded version, and that's okay. Hang tight. We'll get started here in a second. Little chit-chat, jibber-jabber stuff in the beginning. Then we'll get into the show here in a second. Andrew Morris is hanging out with me. Andrew, it's been a while. I was going to look up how long it's been. Do you remember how long since we had you last time we had you?
I think the last time I was on with Mike and you, and Mike was just looking. I think Mike was reeling, going, "Who is this guy?" And I don't get these inside jokes. And
it's like he was the Mike before there was a Mike. That's who he is.
Mike Uyghur, was it?
Yeah, Uyghur. Yeah, Uyghur.
Yeah,
Mike Uyghur, Andrew Morris. Let's see. I'm looking you up in search to see when the 5 years Home Gadget Geeks podcasting. Well, it brings up a 2015. Do you think?
No,
I'm trying to remember. You got really busy at work. It just got to be kind of a
ridiculously.
hassle. You had you had kids.
Young kids was the challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then life didn't get in the way, but life went to 110%, and didn't have the luxury of working from home as much as I did back then. So
no, yeah. Well, I remember it was. I'm trying to remember how I offloaded, like, because Uyghur didn't come on for a while. I mean, we always try to be a graceful. I always try to be graceful with it. You come and be like, well, I think we're kind of like, and I was like, yeah, your families. I mean, your kids were young. They're teenagers now, right? At this point.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think I did a couple of shows with one of them, like in a swaddling cloth.
Yeah.
And so they turned 13 in December, just gone. So that's pretty wild, being a parent of teenage twins.
Yeah. You had them and go ahead.
Yep. Oh yeah, Visa and American Express. They're doing well. They've definitely grown a lot since then.
Yeah. Well, a couple months ago, we had Christian on, and we did the 15-year show. December, the first week of December is the anniversary, time frame.
I must have missed that invite.
Well, I got really sick that day. And so then we had to move it. So we just did it with him. And then you and I were chatting, and I was like, oh, this would be a great time to get you back on and not have to share the mic with Christian. And so I thought, well, let's get you back on after 15 years. But
yes, Christian's got a long way from a kid who I explained DNS to in a really bad manner one night. He makes my head spin. That kid, he's amazing.
He's doing well. He's doing well with he's got his own. He has his first, and it's not phasing him. Okay, between you and me and everybody listening. By the way, Dan's checking in. Hold on, let's do some check-ins here in the chat room really quick. Dan's checking in, says good evening. Joe's checking in as well. Ken says the twins have to be grown by now. I think they're teenagers.
Yep. 13.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is just insane. 15 years of doing this, I'll mention it in the show, the record part of the show, but the phrase world-class show notes came from you.
That'll probably never come up again in my lifetime. Not with me writing anything.
Oh, yeah, you used to do the show notes for me. That was kind of, we parsed that out a little bit. Uncle Marv's checking in. Uncle Marv, good to see you. We parsed the show notes out to you in the early days. I hated writing those things, and you said, well, I'll take a crack at it.
Yeah, that was my Saturday morning ritual. We'd record on a
Friday
morning. I'd either get to it Friday night my time or Saturday morning, and hit the go button and
get those over to me. And now that's completely AI. Like AI has changed everything in the show notes world. Like, it's so easy. They're a million times better than I ever wrote them.
Probably a
And
million times better than what I was producing as well.
well, and we don't try, in those days, you tried to get a lot of links. That was the key, right? Get a lot of
Oh
links
yeah,
in there and those kinds of things. Lots of those links I have to fix every week because they're all breaking now after 10 years, They're not
doesn't
even there anymore.
isn't it kind of like keeping tax records? You get to a certain period of time and you don't worry
Yeah.
about them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Give them
I have a link
7 years
checker.
statute.
For sure. For sure. I have a link checker that's like, because, Google will penalize you if you have a bunch of broken links. So
Oh yeah,
I have this link checker, and sometimes I find the Internet Archive is a good place
mm,
to point them to, because it was something, you'd find something that was relevant to whatever we were talking about. But that
yeah,
site's long gone. But it's on
yeah.
the Internet Archive.
Well, you know what they say: once
Way
it's
back.
online.
Yeah. Yeah. On the Wayback Machine. So okay, well, guys, thanks for coming in, Uncle Marv, Dan, Joe, Ken. Good to see you guys. And let me kick this thing off. We've got a whole list of things to talk about. It's going to be awesome. Not really. Andrew's like looking at me like, list. I didn't send the list over.
Yeah,
We'll catch up, and then we'll talk
yeah.
about some. I'll ask you a couple questions. So, all right, let me kick this thing off. Here we go. This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks, show number 671 with guest Andrew Morris, recorded on February 12th, 2026. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home, news, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the AverageGuy.tv studios here in a beautiful Bellevue, Nebraska. And of course, we'll post the show with some world-class show notes. Andrew, I've been saying that for the longest time. You are the inventor of the word world-class show notes. Welcome back, Andrew. Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Good to put a headset on for something that's not a work meeting for once.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll catch up with you here in a second, but I remember the conversations we had in the early days. I was like, hey, we need some show notes. You want to help me out with that? And you're like, yeah, I think I can do that. And in a pre-show, you were just saying that was your Saturday morning routine, right? We'd record
Yeah.
Friday for your Friday, right? And then we'd sync up sometime over the weekend. And I can't remember. I think I've almost always posted this show on Saturdays sometime.
Yeah.
But we'd sync up over the weekend, and you did that for a long time.
Talk a lot of smack about for a lot of hours back in those days.
Yeah. Well, and we'd record, it would be lunchtime for you. This was kind of the thing. And so you'd sneak away. You were in various places during those days with a headset, and you'd sneak away and do the podcast with us, you, me, Christian, at first. And then you and me for a while, Christian off and on. And then for you,
we had Rich and Mike Howard come in and out every now and again.
Of course. Yeah. Mike Howard and Rich join us for those years. You, the kids that kind of stopped you from podcasting, right? I mean, give us a little update, whatever you're comfortable with. Give us a little update. Where are you at? What are you doing? What kind of things are happening? Those kinds of things.
Look, anyone who's seen me on Facebook would know where we're at. So we we decided to pick up our lives. Made the call at about two and a bit years ago. We're going to pick up our lives out of Melbourne and move up to Brisbane. So, what's that? It's 2,000.
You're hanging out with Rennie up there now? Is that you remember Rennie up in Brisbane?
Yeah. Is he in Brisbane now? Is he?
Well, I thought he was always in Brisbane.
Oh, I thought he moved to Sydney. Anyway,
it doesn't
matter. Yeah, I kind of lost touch.
I haven't heard from Rennie in 1,000 years. So.
Yeah, you and me both. Yeah. So we picked up. We moved to Brisbane after we found somewhere. I wasn't overly keen on playing the rental game, so we found a place that we both liked and bought ourselves an acre and a half of land in South Brisbane. So we back out onto a nice little woodlot that then get wallabies and kangaroos and whatnot in the backyard, which is pretty slick. Then we sold up in Melbourne and made the pilgrimage.
Nice.
So it's been a bit of and then tumultuous 12 months.
Changing locations and moving anytime. Didn't you have a bunch of solar on your house there in
Melbourne?
Melbourne?
Yeah, we got a bunch of it here too as well.
You just sell all that stuff with the house. I assume it just
Yeah,
goes.
it's all considered a fixture. Yeah, so
Yeah.
and the place we bought up here had solar on already, so
Nice. Yeah.
we got a bigger system up here, and probably 3-4 weeks off putting some batteries on so that we become a bit more grid independent, and yeah, hopefully, all we have to pay to the power company is the connection fee.
Yeah,
that's the ideal end game.
No, right on. It's an interesting, and you're probably in a sunnier spot since I've been working with solar over the last 6 months or so. Nebraska is not an ideal solar
Yeah,
state.
getting your roof covered in snow for a few months a year doesn't really help, right?
No, the snow, the clouds. It's a lot hazier here. When you have solar, you start really noticing every day, like, is today going to be a good solar day? At least for me. That's what I'm thinking about. Maybe I'll get over it eventually, but I'm always thinking of staying, and then gets a little hazy and you're like, oh, go away, and but anyway, so okay, so you moved, kids get relocated to school, everything's
Yeah,
going well from that perspective.
yeah. So the kids have done well. They're both pretty much straight A kids now. So Caitlin was straight A's in Melbourne once she decided she wanted to be a doctor, and we told her that C's and D's weren't going to cut it to be a doctor, and she something snapped in her head, and
wow,
hasn't pulled anything under an A in school since. And
nice.
yeah, Nathan, when we got up here, we took him out of the public education system, and he's in a private school now, and he's getting the attention he needs and the push to become the kid he needs to be to be what he wants to do.
Yeah, good. Well, that's always good. Michelle's doing well.
Yeah, she is. So she relocated part of her event management business from Melbourne to Brisbane, and because we've got the Olympics coming up in 2032, there's an opportunity or three up here right now. So
are those in Brisbane?
Yeah, they're going to be in Brisbane or throughout Queensland. So they'll be from Brisbane to Cairns. So quite a bit of geographical coverage.
Oh yeah, they figure it out though. They get it all done.
Yeah, this is right.
Brisbane's has a new underground, right? You guys got a new metro going in or something like that, or
yeah, they're putting I think they're putting a railway line under the river.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're on the south side of the river, and to get the train at the moment, it's like an hour and a half to get to town versus 40 minutes on the bus.
Yeah.
And once this new line goes through under the river, it'll take us like 25 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that'd be nice.
But
those things don't come without controversy, though.
Oh, true. And it's a very much a city under development. Like the amount of money being spent on infrastructure investment and whatnot is just incredible. Particularly coming from a state where the money was being spent, but not necessarily in the right spot.
Well, I always got the impression about Brisbane. It's an old port town, right?
Yeah, correct.
And I always got the impression that it wanted to just be a kind of a port town, and then it got big enough. People are like, we should probably do something here.
Oh yeah.
And then it's been a lot of catch up, right? That
was
the impression I got.
Yeah, look, and there's a lot of government agencies starting to move here. There's a lot of insurance companies and finance companies starting to move their base up here as well. Queensland's a big mining state as well, so a lot of all the big mining companies are in Brisbane.
Yeah. Well, and so from I would say quality of life, but you've been there long enough now.
I'm still sweating bullets all year round. Today, I think today's sitting around about 80-something% humidity.
Yeah. Much warmer, right? You went from a southern latitude up to kind of a higher latitude, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, Melbourne, like a couple of weeks ago, had 48 degrees, but Celsius.
Yeah.
But they had about 30-something% humidity. We had 24 degrees and 89% humidity.
Yeah.
So you can't move without breaking a sweat.
Oh, right on. Right, you still riding your bike?
Yeah.
You riding?
Yeah, still riding. I've got a titanium steed these days, which was my 50th birthday present to myself.
Nice. You're not
Um,
50. Stop. You and I have
uh,
not aged since we started doing this.
I don't know. The lack of hair would probably indicate otherwise. So yeah, I bought myself a gravel bike for my 50th. Since we've been in Brisbane, mountain biking's a big scene up here too. So I went and bought the young man a dual suspension bike, and then realised that I couldn't keep up with him on a hardtail, and so happened to find a full carbon suspension bike for the right price, and so
nice.
yeah,
Cool. Well, thanks for coming back on, and it's always great to catch up after a long time. But we're a tech show, so let's talk a little bit about tech. As we think about the gadgets that are around you, certainly the bike's got some stuff, but what's taking up the lion's share of your attention from a tech perspective? What are you spending your time with gadget wise? What's interesting to you?
What's frustrating me at the moment?
That one that's okay too. That's okay.
Yeah, look, I guess I'm big on media at the moment. I'm spending a lot of time in a plane for work, so part of that's media consumption while you're in the air, and being a pathological tight ass, I really don't like paying for a subscription service. So I've been doing a lot of work with Plex and Jellyfin and various storage appliances, and I've got a Synology NAS that's getting a bit old in the tooth, but what do you do to replace it is probably the current question on everyone's lips.
It is a great question. Like, we're to that point with NAS devices that they're not new anymore. And then so you've had a NAS or a QNAP or you got a homegrown one maybe, right? But then you start thinking, I need to start thinking about the next one, right? Like, and are you in a spot when you think about your Synology? Do you think you'll just upgrade to the next version? Do you?
Well, that's a good question, right? Because Synology sort of shot themselves in the foot. They had their whole hard drive thing, a couple of years ago, and I think the market's lost faith in them as a result of that. Because if they decided to do a backflip on it, there's going to be people out there with drives in those enclosures they can't use. The other one for mine with the Synology, they stopped paying their codec license fees, so you don't buy a device that'll decode a 264, 265 HX codec anymore. So I'm kind of looking at the Ugreen path at the moment. Thanks, Tony. Good prompt.
that was well timed. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've actually just deposited on the new Ugreen AI NAS, which is due to get launched on Kickstarter, I think, in about a month and a half. Which is, I think it's like an Ultra 7. It comes with 64 gig of RAM, and quite the powerhouse. And being Ugreen, it'll run anything else you want it to as well. You disable its onboard storage and install Unraid or TrueNAS or whatever you want to do to run it.
Do you think, okay, so as we're recording this, it's February 2026, CPU and RAM prices are out of effing control, right? Like, I have never seen this kind of market before, right? I mean, we've seen some weird things with faked DRAM, shortages in Singapore or whatever, right? Thailand. We've had these stories before. What's going on right now is just legit, right? You can't get
it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So if you were going to do, I mean, I think from a NAS, you're buying something like Ugreen, which is funny because I tried the Ugreen battery when it came out. It didn't really work well for me. I had to send it back. But you go with something like QNAP or Ugreen, or a lot of this community is turned off by what Synology did. So a lot of folks are like not going back to Synology, right? you think home build, but like,
then you got to maintain it.
yeah, and if you're buying new, it's impossible. You're talking about $1,000 NAS device, just in the
Yeah,
hardware, right?
well, I think this thing's even like 1400 US. So by
Yeah,
the time I
yeah,
land it in Australia, it's going to be
yeah,
over 2 grand.
yeah,
But the flip side of that, right? You've got something that's more than capable for what you want to do with it. Um, Ugreen aren't selling into Australia yet either, so you're kind of restricted to buying off Kickstarter.
yeah.
Because then by you guaranteed you're going to get the thing delivered.
Right. Right. And how, okay, so, we've seen this when we think about batteries or even these NAS devices, or
Mm,
in my world, these batteries, right, that are coming straight out of the Chinese market, right?
mhm.
Is some of that making it to Australia as we think of the EcoFlows and the
Oh yeah,
Jackeries? Are those making it there?
our market's pretty
Okay.
similar in product lineup now.
Okay.
When you say the Jackeries and EcoFlows, you mean like your little battery in a
The
box?
batteries. Yeah, the battery
Yeah,
boxes kind of
the
things. Yeah.
portable things. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So we get pretty much all the same product line. It's just got a
Okay.
different plug on it.
Okay, but no U greens that you're not getting. Those aren't being.
Ha- nah, only the little portable,
Yeah.
you know, thing about the size of your cell phone. Yeah,
Okay.
your power bricks.
Yeah. 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 So, well, and then I don't know if you've been following the price of hard drives too. Have
Oh, it's
been
all
like,
mental. The whole thing's just gone through the roof. I mean, you spend what? Say you buy a cheap NAS out here, which is you're still looking down the barrel of about, I want to say about 2 grand for something
yeah.
with 6 drives in it. You then go and start buying drives, and you're up for $600 a drive to buy
Mm-hmm.
12 TB.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to go much bigger. Because if you lose one and you lose your data pool, and the next thing you've just lost, God knows how much.
Yeah.
Because recovery has a magic point, I think, for any form of RAID.
But do you think we're at a spot? I mean, as we're waiting, because it's everything passes, right? Everything happens. It gets nuts. People fled to the market. But new products come in, prices come down. So this won't be forever. But do you think you're thinking about building a new NAS? And I know a lot of the listeners here are in the same spot you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thinking of like, okay, what's going to be the next version of storage? Do you think we look at used PC stuff and cobble something together for the next 3 to 5 years and wait for this to kind of flush itself out?
Yeah, it's a bit of six. It's six of one, half a dozen the other, isn't it? I mean, I think if you go down the PC grade hardware, like I mean, at the moment I'm running what are they? Seagate Iron Wolves, the 8 TB model in my current NAS. Haven't had a failure. Haven't had
No,
a
no,
single error.
no. If they've
So
made it this far, they're going to make it a while.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think 8 TB on the dollar at the moment is the sweet point. I
Hmm.
think if you go to 12, it's not quite. It's not. It's fairly similar out in Australia, but you go any bigger than that, and the price is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think if you go down the desktop hardware line, I think you they're not designed to run 24/7. They're not energy efficient. They're noisy. Uh, I mean, my thing sits in a cupboard, so I don't
Yeah.
hear it, and it's in a
Right.
hallway. But
Right. Right.
even so, where do you? Everything has a point of balance, I think. And
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure where it is yet either, for that matter.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. The other day, as I've been working through the solar stuff, I went the route where once I started working with solar, I thought, how can I shut everything off?
Yep, get there.
Right? Right? So I'm just like, and then I turned off the miner. I had a Chia miner going with some hard drive stuff, and they're trying
Mm,
to figure out a new format. So I just shut that off, and then started shutting down all the exterior stuff. And then I was like, I don't know if I need this Unraid server. Like, I'm running my NAS is Unraid. It's in a
yep.
Core i7 box from 19, or I mean from 2019. Geez. From It's probably 11 years old now, maybe 10.
Mhm.
And I've got five 3 terabyte hard drives in it that just keep running. They've run this far. They're going to keep running a while. By the way, 2 of them have smart errors on them, so I'm just going to keep running it. It'll be fine. There's parity on the thing, so we can recover them if we need to.
So the time bomb started to tick, basically.
Oh, it's been ticking all the time. But I started thinking, Andrew, and seriously, I thought, do I need this running 24/7? I'm not a data center, for God's sakes. Do I need it running at night when I'm sleeping? Do I need it running during the day when I'm at work? I'm not accessing files from it, but now in your case, you're traveling, and maybe some of those things are true. But do we really need them running 24/7?
I think when I looked at my Plex this morning, I think there was about 30 people streaming off it.
Okay, well, right.
So,
all right, yeah.
To that end, I guess there's a degree of yes.
Yeah,
but
you do.
I don't know. I also tend to think with that sort of enclosure-based storage, if you turn it off, the chance of it not coming back on is greater.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. The whole mean time between failure things, particularly with that high life cycle storage. I know in the enterprise it's designed on it never being turned off.
Right.
So to me, it extrapolates out. I mean, I'm not worried about the cost of energy, not for that device. I've got other stuff in the house that for sure gets turned off.
50 watts. It's 50 watts, right? I mean, this is the crazy thing about. But when you're measuring these things, like all the time,
it all adds up.
Yeah, well, yes, but it's one of those weird things that 50 watts is like 50 of something. It literally costs 50 cents a day, maybe, if you're maybe 25. Right, to run this thing, right? It's super cheap, but it's compared to everything else. You start to run this process, you're like, well, how can I get all my computers down to 15 watts, right, or whatever? So I do listen. Your point about turning things on and turning things off and them not restarting, I think, is legitimate, right? There's a lot of stress put on a hard drive every time you start it, right?
Yeah, I think there's an element of it. I guess it sort of leads you into how do you do your power cycling too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing that keeps me sleepless is Home Assistant, and I think everyone in this community eventually goes down that rabbit hole. For the home automation, whether you're building dashboards to show you what the weather looks like, or you're actually installing a switch behind a smart switch behind every light outlet, and all your lamps have got a smart bulb in them, and they turn themselves on and off with the sun, and all that type of jazz.
Yeah.
And I've been in that. I went down that rabbit hole about 8 years ago.
Well, I was gonna say, in the new house, did you move in and inherit some home automation, or are you putting new stuff in, or how's that working?
I inherited 3 Unifi access points.
Oh, we talked about Unifi a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so I inherited 3 of them that weren't even running off a Unifi network controller. They were just running off a PoE injector, and then you walked around the house, and if you had a Wi-Fi analyzer app running, you'd go from the living room out to the front hallway, and you'd see it go boom, boom, disconnects and come back up again. So yeah, that got changed.
Okay. Did you bring stuff with you?
No, I was running ASUS hardware in Melbourne.
Okay.
With their Wi-Fi mesh, and given there were access points mounted on the ceiling and whatnot already, I went and bought a UCG Max, which is the Cloud Gateway
PoE.
Max. Yeah, and I've got a 7-port PoE switch behind it.
Okay.
And then the long game is that every television and point where people work off a computer will have a Flex Mini in that location, which is the 5-port PoE. So, plug in a Google TV or plug the TV straight in with a Plex client running on it, or whatever the case may be. A little bit more structured.
Yeah. Well, a little enterprise.
Yeah.
there, right? Like home enterprise. That needs
Yeah.
to be a term. Like I think it's the home enterprise, right? Because we have that weird mix where we're talking about Unifi a couple weeks ago, and kind of the question was, is this viable? I think Uncle Marv was hanging out with me, and is that viable today, and is that the way to go, and blah blah blah. But we sometimes treat our home networks like they're the enterprise in some
Mm.
regard, right? And so you're like, how much do we want to take to these endpoints? Then how much management do we want to do on the backside, because you can spend an infinite amount of time managing all this stuff.
Oh, 100%. Look, I think if you go for in the Unifi situation, if you go for the the a solid state brain, so you're not running your network manager somewhere else. Like I was running it on my home assistant NUC, and it was a pain in the ass. There's no there's no way of boiling that one down. Since I've gone into the single control plane, it becomes a lot better. As our security cameras die, I'll replace them with Unifi Ubiquity cameras. It's got an NVMe 2 TB drive in it. I can use that for storage. I can then tie it into things like Frigate and a bunch of other. I don't want to use it, but at the term, but AI smarts that'll tell me what's happening in and outside the house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'll never install a camera in the house, but to know what's happening outside. A man in a white car pulled up to the front gate, and he got out, and he was wearing a blue shirt. That can be kind of handy if something happens after the fact.
Right. Yeah, the only one I put in my house is in my garage, and that's so I can see if my garage door's down. That's kind of the. And by the way, I have a Miros controller on my garage door. It will tell me if it's up or down.
But
I
it's
want to
cool
know.
to have a camera.
I want to know, is it up or down, kind of thing. By the way, Joe said back to the hard drives real quick. He said my hard drives on my Unraid box spin down, but all my Dockers run from SSDs. Hey, Andrew, what and when you think about some of the work that you're doing with hey, we're talking about spinners, but are we at a spot? I mean, do you think most people? Okay, most. When I say people, I mean us,
like us,
tech enthusiasts, right?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we just be solid state all the way around?
I can't afford it.
You don't think so?
I can't afford it.
How much storage do you need?
I've currently got 21 terabytes, and I'm running out of space.
Okay. What's primarily?
I'm not the average guy anymore, though, right?
Well, maybe. I mean, I'm hearing from listeners of this show. I hear. I think the most of the storage is coming in the form of media, right? And it sounds like, is most of that 21 terabytes media? Pictures?
Yeah. Oh, they're not pictures. I think the library at the moment is amassing about 2,000 movies and
okay, so movies, yeah.
18,000 odd TV episodes.
Okay, yeah,
and that's ever increasing. Someone sends you a message and says, "Can you please locate me a copy of blah?"
Yeah,
and if it's on the appropriate sources, then you can find it, right?
But you're almost a media host provider then at that point. If you have that many people and they're requesting, they're requesting stuff to record. So,
look, at the end of the day though, if I cut off external access, no one would care.
Yeah. Okay, say you cut off access. What do you think your storage requirement needs would be then?
Oh, it'd still be the same because they're the TV shows and movies that we watch as a family.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. And you're keeping everything forever. It's the kind of, I'm going to record it once, even if we never watch it again.
Yeah, I'm a data hoarder.
You're a hoarder.
Look at the book. Look at the bookcase of crap over my left shoulder. It hasn't changed since I was in Melbourne.
Yeah. Okay, so you can't get away with SSD. You're going to need some spinners. That being said, spinners, I mean, yes, as we're talking about, I mean, prices have gone back up, but you're in a situation, 21 terabytes is still pretty doable. from a storage perspective. So
yeah, I mean,
you know,
I'm just having a little look online while we're talking. I mean, you can buy an 8 terabyte NVMe at the moment in Australia for about $1,400. So if you went solid state, it's it's crazy, but it's not ridiculous, depending on your income.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think if you're gonna for in your scenario, you're helping friends, or even let's just say you're not. It's your family video, right? It's your
Yeah,
family
yeah.
stuff.
It's all my Linux. It's all my Linux ISOs.
Some spinners are just fine right out there. They're easy to replace. You can run them, if you do say you did need to expand or you did need to replace an 8 terabyte hard drive. Yeah, they're $300 or $400 for whatever, right?
Yeah,
And maybe that's a US price. But you
about the same.
you can do it. It's not impossible. Joe makes a good point in chat, and I'll ask you about this. These AI data centers, you're a little bit in that space. But he says in a couple of years, when the AI data centers turn over their hardware, we'll be running enterprise SSDs, hopefully cheap. Andrew, any thoughts on in the space you're in? Any thoughts? Is that do you think we have some fallout coming a couple years from now?
It's already
I think
happening.
there may be surplus equipment we may be able to get our hands on.
It's already happening in Australia. I'm not sure about the
Really?
US. Yeah, if you jump on Marketplace at the moment, you can pick yourself up like something like a Nutanix cluster or Nutanix host with probably 100 terabytes of storage in it for under $5,000.
Okay.
And it's all rotating Rust with a couple of NVMe's in it. But
Yeah.
it'll do the trick. You gotta jump on quickly. But if you buy something like that for say $5,000, if assuming you've got a rack at home in your domestic data center,
Well,
you've got you can heat your house for life.
yeah.
And but you never,
Yeah.
and if a disk fails, so what? You throw it in the bin.
Right. I think what a lot of folks are thinking is this, as we get to the next like all this data center stuff is going in. And I don't know if we know exactly how much equipment is actually going in. Like there's a lot of talk of this of like, oh yeah, we're building data centers at a breakneck pace. And I'm kind of wondering, like, I wonder how much of that is real. Like maybe there's a lot of pencil whipping going on at this point. I mean, certainly we're building data centers, right? And things are happening.
Oh, they're building
But
an awful lot of floor space.
yeah, yeah, right. How much of the equipment is actually going in? And then you
Yeah,
start thinking like, because everybody's short everything. I mean, it came on so fast. And then, once the stuff comes to a grinding halt, then nobody can get anything, kind of
yeah,
deal. So you kind of wonder if, we could be in a perfect bubble situation where all this equipment's backed up. There's this huge demand. Everybody races to meet it. The AI bubble bursts. Then there's less demand, and then all of a sudden there's all this equipment. And on the backside of this thing, all these things that are expensive, CPUs, GPUs, memory, and drives, could, and especially SSDs, because they're not for AI. They're using SSD or NVMe, right?
yeah,
For
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and not spinners. This isn't data center stuff. This is actual storage of LLMs, which you don't want to have it on drive, right? So, yeah, we could a couple years on the backside of this thing, we could see some real windfalls.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah, have no doubt. And you know what? That class of storage will probably work in your average
yeah,
domestic machine without having to
right,
go and buy funky adapters and
right,
HBA cards and all the jazz that you do for that rotating Rust that people are picking up now.
yeah, yeah. No, I think there'll be, a lot of that stuff is. I mean, they themselves are picking up consumer like
Mm,
equipment to put because that's what's available,
yeah,
right? And
correct.
so they're
Yeah,
jamming that stuff in, and then eventually they'll be like, oh, we better get rid of this stuff. Fire sale, get it
yeah.
out of here. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think the key difference really, it's like the days of old. What makes an A class memory stick or an A class NVMe is it how they test it on the bench when
yeah,
it comes off the production line. It's I think that's a large part of it, right? When LG or Samsung make a TV panel, what makes it LG or Samsung or go to one of the lower brands? that they provide panels to. It's got to be the quality of it when they test it.
Yeah, when they test it, and then it goes down a path.
Yeah.
Okay, that's this path, and then this one's path B, and this one's path C, and I think we could be in a situation, right, where the stuff's going to get used fairly hard, but fairly fast, and the stuff that doesn't work will be ferreted out. It'll fail. They'll toss it, and the stuff that makes it through, if you can pick up some of this stuff for 30% on the dollar, like
Yeah.
all
And
of
it's
a
going to end
sudden,
up and let's face it, it's going to end up in the auction houses.
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So it's just a matter of keeping your eye on the.
I think so. It's discouraging now, though, right? It's discouraging for people.
It's a pain in the ass.
These PC builders are out there, and they're like, they want $4,000 for this memory. When I built out, the last Windows PC I built out, right? It's a Ryzen 5. It's got a 3060 GPU in it, which it's $400 at the time. I could probably pick up that 3060 now for under $400. So that's not there. But the memory, I got 128 gig of RAM. I could sell that RAM today
for more than you pay for the whole PC.
pay for the whole thing. Now the PC wouldn't be usable, but you're like, and I've kind of taken the approach like, well, I'm gonna hold on to this box and use it because it's paid for. It was fairly inexpensive when I bought it, and I'm just going to try and get as much mileage. Do you think for the average guy, Andrew, that's kind of the stance we kind of need to take is like, hey, let's push some of this equipment just as far as we can, knowing we got to have a backup plan for some of it, but maybe we stretch out the equipment life. That's
all I'm doing. Yeah. I'm just going to run my gear down until it's unusable.
Yeah.
And then I think you're going to end up buying almost a brand name. I think it'll get to a point where rolling your own becomes cost ineffective. I'm looking even now. I've just come out of the enterprise world after 30 odd years. I've got to grow up and buy a laptop, or another computer. I'm using a micro PC as we speak, which I picked up for $150 at a clearing sale. Yeah. It's current. Yeah. It's a current model. It's got a Core i5 15 something in it, 32 gig of RAM and a 256 gig NVMe. Does what I need to do as a daily driver. It runs Office. It runs Windows. Right. I can run a few VMs on it if I want to. But yeah, it's a hard one because everything's going up in price, and it's not commensurate with anything that anyone earns.
Right.
We at work the other day, we replaced a motherboard in a machine that's used for processing drone footage, and the thing's got 2 terabytes of RAM in it. And I'm sitting there, I'm pulling these DIMMs out, and I'm going, holy shit, this is worth more than my car.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And those prices went up so fast. This kind of reminds me a little bit. You're a little bit younger than me, but this kind of reminds me of the 80s when PCs were new, and we were just starting to come out with, I think about the 84, 88, or 84, 86, 87, 88, those time frames. And man, the PCs were expensive. Now, part of it was just the manufacturing wasn't there. And so, you didn't have it. But these prices kind of remind me. So the conditions are different. I get that. The conditions are different. Or are they? Like
it's Moore's law though, right?
Yeah.
Like, my first PC, which I bought in, I think it was 84, 85, cost me just shy of $4,000 for a 386. And I had a 32.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good deal.
I think it was like a 32 meg hard drive or something like that. I can't remember what size the drive it was, but it had virtually no memory, and it had a 5.25 inch floppy because I couldn't justify the 3.5.
Yeah. Well, no, for sure. But the reason those were so expensive is because the manufacturing, the stuff we needed, wasn't there. I'm kind of wondering if the demand has reset. Like if the demand is so high for these things, it's reset the manufacturing. We just don't have enough manufacturing locations,
Well,
especially
you
in this
guys,
AI,
well,
setup.
you guys are also getting fingered by the whole tariff thing
Oh,
too,
for
aren't
sure.
you?
For sure we are. Yeah, for sure we are. Yeah, we
I
are.
mean, I mean, I can buy. I'm sure that the motherboard I can buy for $500 is going to cost you guys 650.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that doesn't help either. Um, source of origin is always going to be a killer at the moment.
Well, but that motherboard should be $100 or $150
Oh,
because
absolutely.
for all of us, right? It's just got me wondering if we're not in a great reset for manufacturing. And
Mm,
all of a sudden, listen, manufacturing on the tech side had never been better until it wasn't. Like that
mm.
all of a sudden in the last year because of AI, we
It's
went from
gone
having
mental
enough to not enough
to none.
quickly. Yeah. And so it's almost like a great reset on prices, right? And we're seeing these astronomical prices like we saw in the 80s. Now, that corrected itself. A bunch of people got in. We figured that out. Prices got cheap. It cheap enough that in the late 90s, early 2000, we had the whole AOL giving away PCs, right? I
Yeah,
mean, that was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
right? I mean, so that cycled around to it. So I'm also, but I often wonder what this new demand, and if it sticks, what this new
Mm.
demand will do to manufacturing, because we may have to see, well, and do we have enough materials to create, like, are there enough of materials on the planet
Is there
to
enough silicon
create?
in the world?
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it really does make you wonder, right? You're like, hey, all this demand is awesome, but is there enough? Are there actually enough raw materials in the world to make these things at this level? You know?
Probably encourages innovation to find the next thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? You're right. You're right. I mean, maybe this is the 80s where we stopped thinking about, capacitors and resistors and we
Yeah.
started thinking about silicon, right? Yeah, Tony says now we know what it's like to be Australian or Canadian, and that's kind of true, right? From
I
that,
don't know. We still get the wrong end of the pineapple as well. So don't.
yeah, yeah. It's a different scale, right? I mean, as we think about
it's
340
still
million
it's
Americans and
still a pine. It's still a
25
pineapple.
million.
We just don't get the end with the green bits. The green stuff on it.
Sorry, that was funny. Yeah, well, but the scale's different in Australia than
Oh
it
yeah,
is
for
here in
sure.
the United States, right? And so and same in Canada, right? Scale's a little bit different from that standpoint. You mentioned Unify, Ubiquity Unify. Do you think we're like, that this may be an area as we're thinking about, yeah, PCs and storage and CPU and GPU is expensive. Is this the time to really start looking at networking gear because that doesn't seem to be as affected by all of this craziness in a lot of ways. And if I was going to
Potentially,
upgrade, is now the time? Do you think?
I think the time is right to upgrade your networking gear when you need to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
I did mine purely through necessity.
Right.
Otherwise, if we'd moved into this new house and it didn't have the Unifi gear on the roof, I just would have put my existing hardware somewhere else in the
Yeah.
house. We moved in, it had a crappy TP-Link modem on a gigabit connection. It was pulling about 180 meg. I put my Asus one in and it went straight to a gigabit.
Oh, nice.
So,
Nice.
it's all
Yeah.
it's all relative to
Right.
it's all
Right.
it's all relative. It's relative to requirement, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, we're lucky and unlucky here at the moment in Australia. When they deployed our national broadband network, there was a lot of copper that they had to recycle and reuse and adaptive technology to make it work with what people had to their homes. I think when we spoke, when I was still in Melbourne, we'd just upgraded to fibre at that house that we're in, and we went from a 100 megabit connection to a gigabit connection. And the house that we're up here in Brisbane, we've got a gigabit down and we've got 100 meg up, and it runs pretty solid at that all day, every day. But that equally costs me $130 a month.
Ooh.
Yeah. So what's that? That's $90 US about.
Yeah. 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 And actually, there's some parts of the country here in the United States, they're paying that right now. That's pretty. I mean, we talk about. I get 500 down and 100 up.
Probably 500 up.
No, but I'm on T-Mobile wireless internet, and I don't. It's good enough. It's $50. It's good enough. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not in a spot where I need all that much more up. I get 85 to 100 up in most cases. 500 to 600 down, kind of depends on how the wind's blowing. And you right, and it's just good enough. I don't know if I need a full, if I don't need for what I'm doing anymore.
I kind of feel that I could wind ours back now that I'm not at home and working at home.
Yeah.
But I'll wind it back. I just don't need the grief.
Yeah, no, right on.
And I save, and the reality is I save $10 a month.
Yeah.
Over a year when you're
fine. Anything under 100 is actually pretty good at this point, right? I think when we think about it, we're going to get a whole bunch of people watch this show or that'll be like, no, I got it for 45 or I got it for 35, right? Or I'm doing this for 75. I think that, we're, at least from a broadband perspective, we're all in that 50 to 100 category for the most part.
What about Starlink? What's the uptake for Starlink?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a great question. I don't know. Like we here in the US, Starlink is pretty much just a rural. I shouldn't say it just is, because I'll get a whole bunch of comments like, no, I'm in the middle of the city and I got Starlink, right? It is very rural though. A lot of rural folks use it, when they don't have access to. Now, Nebraska is the king of rural, right? I mean, we have Omaha, and then everything else is rural. Well, Lincoln, our capital, but so I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure some of that is going on, but
look, we use it at work. Working in a coal mine now. When you're out in the middle, out in a dirty big hole, and you need the internet for something. Most of our techs have got a Starlink Mini in the truck. Is it a great experience? Some days it's awesome. Some days you get 600 megabits down. Other days you get 50.
It depends where the internet. It just depends where the satellite is, right?
I think it's more what the heat shimmer looks like. It doesn't respond well to heat shimmer. Like last week it was 45 degrees where we were trying to use Starlink, and it was quicker to use a cell phone.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it makes sense.
But the convenience of it is phenomenal. I can take one back to my camp and throw it outside my bedroom door if I need the internet.
Yeah.
And I've got 150 megabits coming down. Not that I want to be doing that, but if there's a reason that I need the internet for something, just grab it out of me, and there it is. Yeah,
get you out of a pinch. Yeah, for sure. I was checking Starlink here. They say service starts at $50 a month.
And, it's about the same here.
Yeah, their max speed is 120. This is US prices, right? This is Nebraska prices. 200 down is 80, and then 100 is 50.
Yeah, I haven't had a look at what it is here. We pay stupid prices for it through work, but
I wouldn't. For me, I wouldn't have any need for it. Although it, Andrew, and all the talk that I had about getting Wi-Fi out to my shed, for the longest time I was trying to get Wi-Fi to the shed in the backyard, and I realized at the end of the day, the problem was the laptop that I was using to try and get the Wi-Fi in the shed was too old. And as soon as I took a new laptop out there, it connected everything in the house just fine. And I was like, it wasn't even a problem, So, you're like, well, you gotta take into account the gear that you're using access the stuff. But
yeah, for us, I'm just looking here. So 100 gigabytes of data on Starlink Roam is about $80.
Okay. Yeah.
Where's starts at about $70 a month for residential.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're in that age of $50 to $100 for most people, right? If you want, certainly there's edge cases and folks getting it cheaper and folks getting it a little more expensive, but I think we're kind of around that spot. It kind of varies by region to region based on what the competition is and what you have access to and some of those kinds of things. We're in a spot here in Bellevue where I live that they've been promising to run fiber out here for the last 5 years. In fact, right before the pandemic, they came out and sprayed down all the sidewalks to, with the markings.
Marcus Price, yeah.
We're coming, right? And then nothing. And I don't think it was the pandemic, but just remember, I walked around during the pandemic. I walked around the neighborhoods a lot, right? So I was getting exercise, and I saw there's all these markings, and I was like, well, guess they're going to start tearing it up. My sidewalk is kind of a mess, so I was kind of hoping they'd tear it up and then fix it, kind of deal. And no, we ended up not getting any fiber options. It's why I went with T-Mobile Wireless. I was like, and that has actually been really good for me. Like, now part of it is I literally have a tower 1 block away. So I'm sitting underneath the tower. It could not be any easier, right? And so it's been, for the most part. Now, I say that over the last 2 podcasts, I've had problems where I've dropped during the podcast over the last 2. And so I say that with intrepidation. I haven't dropped yet here tonight. So I don't know, maybe they're listening to me. But I kind of wonder, would you go, like, I'm not Starlink, but I'm wireless. Would you go wireless if you thought it was in your area, if it was good enough?
If I had to, it'd be a challenge. Okay. I mean, just on the mobile phone, we've got, about 1 bar of signal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're not close enough. You're not close enough.
Right? Oh, we're close. It's at the end of the street. It's just a shit It's just a really shit connection.
Yeah. Okay.
Whether it means that all their concentrators are pointing in the opposite direction or what it is, I'm not entirely sure. But we had a cyclone go through about this time last year, took the power out pretty much everywhere. When that tower ran out of power, just bend over, kiss your ass goodbye. Two 12-year-olds in the house, who are used to sitting there on the phone and the doom scroll happening, and it's like, what are we going to do, Dad? It's really just became a you problem. Pick up a book.
Get out the cards, kids. Let me teach you pinochle.
Yeah, pick up a book.
Joe out in chat says the federal grants covered the spray paint, and that was about it. Yeah, I was definitely surprised we didn't. The service, I think what they did, to be honest, is there was a lot of pre-sale stuff going on. We got like flyers in the mail. Like I could have used them to insulate my house. We got so many of them. And then I was like, then I don't think enough people just took them up on there, there were not enough pre-sales. And they're like, yeah, we're not going to cover that area if there's not going to be enough pre-sales. We're in a hard spot. We're in an old part of town. And so we're in a hard spot to get to. And a lot of companies don't want to come out. You know how it is. The new, when they're laying cable in a new neighborhood,
they throw the fiber in the trench next to it. Yeah,
they do. Yeah, they do. And it's just easy enough. We just got notified today. I got a postcard. Our electricity provider, OPPD here, Omaha Public Power District, they're gonna put in a brand new substation for us. So we had massive floods in 2020 or in 2019, and down on the river. It exposed some real problems, and not problems for the residents, problems for the Air Force Base. Let's just be real clear. Let's just be real clear. The Air Force Base is what had some problems, right? but the utility is like, oh yeah, the residents, we're gonna take care of you guys. There's a new substation coming in for you. So there have been some, they got to do, they're a public utility, so they got to do, all these open meetings and come and hear about what's going on. And I thought maybe when I first got the postcard, I thought maybe because we're in the old part of town, so the wires are, in our backyard. I thought maybe maybe they're going to bury the cables. No, they're never going to bury the cables. We want to make your energy more reliable. Well, burying my cable, and that would make it more reliable.
Get it underground. Yeah, absolutely.
What they really meant was we want to make it more reliable for the Air Force Base that's nearby. So that's coming here to Nebraska as well. Andrew, gadget wise, anything besides, we've talked a lot about the networking stuff, but anything else that's catching your fancy right now from a gadget perspective?
Oh, look, I guess the health kick, well, the desire for a health kick has me wearing a fairly recent Garmin. Nice. I'm using an Epix 2. So it's a couple of years old now, but it does what I want it to. It's got a nice shiny yellow band. So the important things in life.
It looks impressive, right?
See, look at that.
Yeah, that's a nice look. That's a nice. What feature or features do you find yourself using the most?
Look, at the moment, I'm probably using it more for sleep tracking than anything else.
No, valid. At our age, dude, that's valid. For sure.
Yeah, show me anyone when you're in your 50s whose wife doesn't tell you snore. I've never heard me snoring, so I call that
happen.
I call that plausible deniability, right?
Yes. I've never heard me snore. Says every guy post 40, or maybe younger.
Yeah. So yeah, look, there's that. I do use I'm pretty heavily in the Garmin ecosystem, so I use a Garmin 1040 Solar on both bikes when I'm out riding. So on the mountain bike, it does some really cool stuff. It tracks the amount of air that you get while you're jumping, and
really,
yeah, it tells
cool.
It tells me at the end of a ride, it'll tell me how much air time I've had.
And then does it say you're effing crazy at the?
That's me when I look at it. That's me when I look at it, going, don't you realize that you break?
You snore at night and you're trying to get air.
Yeah. Oh, look, when we kind of live in a mountain bike mecca where we are. So the nearest trailhead is probably a 5-minute drive away.
Oh, that's nice.
So when the weather's amenable, I'll pick Nathan up from school. You'll come home, get him changed, and we're on the bikes in 10 minutes.
That's nice.
And go and smack out 45 to an hour worth of riding, and back home. On the road bike, I'm using one of these, which is it's an older model now, but it's a Garmin Varia, which is a radar tail light. So if I'm on the road, it tells me what's coming up behind me, how fast it's coming.
Oh.
And whether I should be getting the hell out of its way.
Okay. How does it tell you that?
It's got a radar built into it, and it links back to my Garmin headset.
Okay.
So you then get like a little thing go up the side of the screen on the bike computer that shows you what's coming up behind.
It doesn't say move left.
No, like it'll tell you that you got 3 cars coming behind, and
really?
one of them's doing 70 kilometers an hour.
And you're like, get over.
Yeah.
Wow,
it's like,
that's kind of cool. I didn't realize they were getting some of that kind of radar stuff out there for you to. Because that's a big problem, right? That's a big problem.
I reckon I've had that one 4 years now.
Okay.
Yeah. The new stuff's even better. The new stuff is a lot more selective about telling you what cars are where and what they're doing. But it's still pretty cool. I've probably had 4 or 5 occasions now where it's more or less told me get the hell out of the way.
Yeah. Well,
if
cool.
it goes red, they're going too fast.
Yeah, you're like, I'm dead at this point. Like, oh well, it's been nice.
Yeah.
The
But
Garmin
look,
headquarters are just down the street, and I shouldn't say down the street. They're in Kansas City, right, which is not
yeah.
far from us down here. And so we for the longest time, a lot of the college grads would head down there and work for them, and the work they're doing. And we've gotten so hooked on, I shouldn't say hooked, but the Apple Watch has been so popular. I think some of the Garmin watches have been sleepers. Like there's some really
there's some good gear out there.
technical Garmin gear for sure.
You didn't hand in your man card and go Apple, did you?
I did. Yeah, I did. For a long time. I'm on a Series 4. I have committed to this watch until it dies. Like I'm like, I'm not, there's been some new ones that have done some stuff, but I'm kind of like, no, I paid a lot of money for this thing. I'm going to wear this thing until it absolutely. Listen, if you would,
I'm the same with this.
I know you got a couple grand into that watch that's right there. The I'm, it's so funny. Before smartwatches, if you would have told me I was spending $500 or $600 or $1,000 on a watch, I'd have been you're I think crazy.
Yeah.
I was buying $50 Casio or whatever watches, right, kind of thing. I just wasn't a watch guy.
And lasted 10 years.
Oh my geez. Now, yeah. Well, and they'd last forever. I mean, I still have some watches. I got an award at Gallup and they gave me a watch, and that thing's never gonna break. I mean, it's
but you gotta wear it.
I do have to wear it. That's true. That's true. That's true. And you can't wear two,
And it'll never break in a box though.
So it's frustrating though. This thing it's a Series 4, and I think I've had it, I don't know, 6 years, 7 years now, maybe.
It's pretty solid for.
I think so.
Doesn't charging it every single day piss you off?
No. So the charger's down here on the desk.
Yeah.
And before I go to bed, I throw it on the charger and I go, it's not in, and then I take my phone with me, and my phone's the alarm clock, right? And so that's the phone goes off at 6 a.m. every morning, and I wake up and do my thing. And so, no, that doesn't bother me. I've tried, Andrew, I don't know. I tried buying those things where it's a phone and a watch and the earbud chargers all in one. And you can put the phone, laying it down on the side, and it becomes a clock kind of thing, where
everyone needs it, right?
I hate that. I put my phone upside down. I've stopped. I don't even have a charger in my room anymore. I'm not charging my phone overnight when it gets charged in the car when I go to work, or on the car on the way home, or it's on the charger on the desk right here. At night, upside down, boom. I don't need that. I don't want to know what time it is. I need to be sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah. And the people who you need to call, you can get through. You do not disturb, right? That's all that matters. They are not.
No, I don't. They can't even get through. They're screwed. If they call me while I'm sleeping, they're screwed. I don't even have that set. I have no idea. Nobody can get a hold of me when I'm sleeping. I'm sleeping. Listen, I had such a hard time during the pandemic. I had such a hard time sleeping that now that I've kind of figured it out, post-pandemic, I'm actually getting some sleep now. You're like, no, you can't interrupt me. There's nothing that, and maybe the kids, whatever. Yeah. But anyway, so, so are you mostly in that Garmin ecosystem then for your bike headset?
Yeah,
watch,
everything,
GPS,
even the GPS in the car.
Yeah. That's good. Look, it's a good place to be.
We were both in the Fitbit ecosystem. The kids were in the Fitbit are in the Fitbit ecosystem, mostly because of the price of the device. But we both found that we were getting maybe 1.5 to 2 years out of the unit before the battery had just completely shit itself.
They were garbage. They're just garbage.
And it just becomes
garbage.
But you know what? For a 12-year-old kid, they're perfect. We went through the Amazfit bands off AliExpress. You pick one of them up for $20. And they're pretty solid. Michelle's rocking an original Venue, the Garmin. And I've had a Phoenix 6 which died, and they warranted it for this one. So
Yeah, Joe says he's got that Venue too, and it's around 3 years old. Still gets 3 days battery life. I was always super impressed with Garmin's battery life. They
Uh,
they they seem to
yeah,
be able to get that right.
this thing's 2.5 years old. Because I got it pretty much when it came out. I use it for sleep. I do SPO tracking at night. So your blood oxygen levels.
Yeah.
Which they reckon it shows you if
But what do
you've
you
got.
do with that data, Andrew? Like, okay, so you get it, but are you doing something with it? Like, is
Yeah,
it changing?
I look at it and I try to correlate it to how I feel the next day. I was originally using the Fitbit. I don't know if you remember. Back when I was trying to get my migraines under control, we were trying to correlate sleep pattern to migraine.
Yeah.
And like every single day, I had an IFFT macro that would go and pick up my Garmin sleep data, put it into a spreadsheet on Google Sheets, and then I'd go through, and if I had a migraine, I'd put a tick next to it, and then you'd look at the graph and that was a shit night's sleep, tick, there was a migraine. Now I use it probably more to get a bit of correlation between how I feel the next day and how I slept.
Okay. Yeah, I need to do something. I probably should be checking my sleep just to be. And I could wear this when I sleep, but I don't like it. I don't want anything on my arms. Ed Sullivan, who's been on the show before, he's got that. Is it Whoop or Swoop?
Oh yeah, Whoop. Yeah.
Whoop. So Whoop.
Yeah, that's just a band.
Yeah, it's just a band. And I've thought about going that. I've thought about, it's a subscription, it's like $250 a year or something like that for thing. You just buy it, it's annual, you pay subscription. I don't know if I want to know. Like, I think I know how bad my sleep is. It took me like I can watch on the data that's on my phone during the pandemic and post pandemic. 2023 5 hours. So like 2021, say 2020, 2021, 4 hours every night. Like I just couldn't sleep anymore. Then it goes to 5 in 2023, 6 in 2024, 7.5 to 8 in 2025. Like I've been doing so much better. So from that perspective, I kind of know like, oh yeah, you know what? My sleep is a lot better. I go to bed earlier. I've been getting in bed by 10. I've been getting up at 6. I've been getting that 8 hours, right? But I don't know. I don't know if I want to know more than that because I'm sure I am ripping the paint off the walls. I'm sure sometimes I do wake myself up and I'm like, oh, was that me? Or was that the dog growling in the
hole?
You're like, what was that? Where did that sound come from? Yeah, it's a challenge, but that's just why I ask you. Like, are you doing something with the data? Because I'm afraid I'd get it, and then I'd be like, well, yeah, I know already.
Look, I have a certain female in my life who is trying to get me to go do a sleep study at the moment. So, but I really don't want to sleep. I don't really don't want to CPAP. I'd rather sleep in a different room.
That's where I've gone. Yeah. I just was like, I'm just gonna go to a private room and not bother anybody except me. And but okay.
No one wants to go to bed looking like Darth Vader. Let's face it.
It's so hard. We got to get better at this. Like this is the sleep thing we got to get better at, right? And there's my oldest son has told me there's a wrap. You wear a mouthpiece and a wrap that holds your jaw in, and he's trying that kind of thing. And I was like, oh my God.
You go to bed half mummified.
Totally. Just hold that jaw in there. I have been practicing. I've been trying to do this. I've been thinking about before I go to sleep of holding my jaw in place. I wear retainers.
Yeah, I've got one too.
And I've been trying to hold they won't hold my mouth together. But I've been trying to practice as I'm going to sleep. Not clinching, but just holding the jaw like in a spot. But listen, I'm afraid to death to fall asleep on my back because I'm afraid I'll choke to death. You're like, I'm pretty sure if I fall asleep on my back, I'm going to die. I'm just going to die. And listen, for you and me, like there's the other thing, gentlemen. I mean, there's the other thing about weight. right? I mean, both of us. Well, maybe not you.
What are you trying to say, Jim?
Maybe not you, but I could definitely lose a few.
You calling me fat or what?
Well, not you, but maybe me and maybe you. We could do better. We could do better in that space.
Oh, look,
right.
I look back to when I got married. If I put it into American speak, I'm about 40 pound heavier than I was when I got married.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's that's part and parcel with some of them. Well, it's I mean, my case, it's some of the meds I'm on to stop migraines and stuff like that. But
yeah, for sure.
Everything can be overcome with exercise and not having a shit diet too.
It's really just not eating. That's the key. Like at our age, the exercise doesn't matter as much. It's just we don't need to jam as much stuff in our pie hole. It's just like tonight I was like chili. Oh yeah, I gotta have that. I gotta have those cinnamon rolls to go with the chili.
Because they go together. Because they decide to go together.
You're like, well, I could have walked away. I could have just walked away. What fun is it in that? Andrew, anything coming up as you're thinking about anything coming up in your future that you're thinking about you're excited about from a tech perspective? You got it, or you keeping an eye on any kind of tech gadget here in the future? I mean, the tech future is bleak just because everything's super expensive, but any thoughts? What's going on in the future?
Oh yeah, I desperately want a 3D printer.
Oh, I am so on again, off again on 3D printers. What would you? Why? Let me ask you why. What do you think you're going to print on that thing that's going to make a
difference? I don't know. Print myself a new partner some days, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh look, I've got two kids who are using Blender at school and designing stuff and whatnot. So this day and age, I think for them it'd be something that they would use. But I find more and more at work that I have a need to make like a custom bracket for something or a holder for something else or that type of thing.
But don't you think you can just go to Etsy or whatever and get somebody else to print it for you and just ship it to you?
Yeah, where's the fun in that though?
I know, but it's just you need it. Like I need, I put up these permanent lights outside the house, right? They've gotten real industrial now. They're about that big. Yep. And what I need is I don't want to put permanent. I don't want to drill those things permanently into my siding. And so what I used was wood shims, like you would use in construction. And I just attached them to the wood shims and then slid them in. And I always thought, okay, in the spring, I'm going to come back and I needed bigger shims. The shims I used were too small, and so they don't shine the way they want them to. And I thought, that'd be the perfect 3D printed device. Like finally, I have something I need. And then I'm like, would I really buy a $800 3D printer to print 15 of these things and then never print anything again?
But if no one else is selling them on your Etsy's,
no, they totally are. I can find these anywhere. Yeah, listen, on Etsy for this 3D printed stuff, everything's been invented already. If you're thinking about it, somebody else has, and you can just buy it.
Yeah, I'm purely thinking about it just to screw around. Really,
right on.
But the other day at work, I mean, I had to install 3 Mac Minis running an application called AppSpace, which does your corporate rah across multiple TV screens, and they're sitting. I've got a gap that's like 4 inches, and at the moment I've got a power board lying in there upside down, and I've got 3 Mac Minis standing up side by side on this power board. It looks shit, right?
Yeah.
And I'll fabricate something not out of plastic, and it'll do the job. But to be able to just design it, print it, and walk in and go, hey, look what I built for this custom purpose.
Yeah, you have one in mind? Do you have one in mind? Have you been looking at any of them?
Yeah, probably. I think this day and age, you got to go Bamboo Lab.
Yeah, they're the
Apple of 3D printing. Yep. You still there?
See, it happened. There it goes. I spoke it into existence and it happened. They're the Apple, right? You were saying
they're the Apple of 3D printing. Creality is probably the Android of 3D printing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Prusa, I think, has just shot himself in the foot because he's arrogant. But yeah, look, I would probably, I think, look at maybe a H2S or an H2D. As much as the new tool changer one is very appealing, there's a lot of problems I'm reading about it. So I don't want to buy something that's in a beta phase that's gone to market.
Right. Yeah, Dave McCabe's been on, and he's got the Bamboo Labs, and I think it's probably just the way to go. We're gonna.
He's big on it. I mean, he probably uses it to complement his woodwork stuff, and that
for sure,
doesn't he?
No, for sure. Yeah, he's got that mind though. This is where I always thought, like, yeah, I could use one of these. I'm not a designer. Like, I just can't do that. That stuff doesn't. I'm like, can I have somebody else design it? Like, it'd be really cool if I could buy it from you. That's the best design I have is when I buy it from somebody else. Like, I just don't have that kind of mind.
Or you give them the concept and they come up with it for you.
Yeah. Well, I got to find those bamboo, or not the Bamboo Labs, but I got to find those shims that hold the lights for that. And then I'll have somebody print those for me and we'll get them done. Well, Andrew, our time is up here. Great to have you. Great to have you. Great to connect with you. Thanks for being my friend over the last 15, 16 years as we've kind of lived life together. And
it's been a pretty wild trip. I mean, I know we got invited to your wedding anniversary and couldn't make the stars align, but that would have been pretty.
That would have been epic. That would have been epic if you would have. Yeah, my kids threw that for our 25th. We're coming up on 30 something this year, and it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot of years. It's a lot of Hey, can you hang tight?
It's a lot of years conspiring against your children, isn't it?
I know, it's surprising. It's surprising. One of us hasn't killed each other in the process. I'm fully expecting a pillow over my head one night. Just hold it down and make sure so if I disappear, friends, listen to the podcast. You guys know what's happened. She's snuffing out.
Consider this to be Jim's weekly proof of life.
Exactly. That's why I keep podcasting. It's proof of life. Not a bad proof of life, actually. So good stuff. Andrew, can you hang on while I close this thing up? All right.
Yeah.
Couple reminders on the way out. If you're listening to the podcast side of things or on YouTube there, if you want to join the Discord group, you can do that. theaverageguy.tv/Discord. Lots of great conversation. Not super busy and not a huge commitment, but deals get posted there, and we have some conversations about kind of like what we had tonight. We've had some Ubiquity or some Unifi conversations going on lately, or whatever. Join that Discord group. Just jump in there, and we'll let you in as well. And then don't forget the AverageGuy.tv platform, both web and media hosting, still powered by Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from folks that you know and you trust. That's Christian. I asked him the other day, plans still $10, Christian? He goes, still $10. So if you want to fight inflation, his prices aren't going. RAM prices, CPU prices, GPU prices, all going up. Not Maple Grove Partners. Well, I shouldn't say they're going down. They're staying the same. And so check it out today, maplegrovepartners.com. And I'll remind you, if you're out there, big thanks to our Patreon subscribers as well. Appreciate you guys and what you do every single month. And if you're purchasing on Amazon, go out to theaverageguy.tv and just click through the Amazon link that's there, rather than trying to embed all those links in the show notes, the world-class show notes, as we used to call them. Just click on the link. It's just easier that way, and it benefits the networks, and we appreciate it as well. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, out here at theaverageguy.tv/live. If you're a regular listener, you know Erin Lawrence was on a couple weeks ago. We had her coming in from LA, and then we lost her midway through the show. She's coming back and will be with us next week. And so come out and join us for 672. Andrew Morris, always great to catch up with you. Thanks again for coming on tonight and being a part of the show for the last 15 years. Appreciate you. Make sure you pass that on to Michelle as well and your kids. For those listening live, stay around for a few minutes of a post show. With that, we'll say goodbye, everybody. Hey, did you hear the new theme music for Home Gadget Geeks? Did you get a chance to?
No.
Oh, you should. Okay. So you should we've had the same, Brian, right? Brian did the intro. So I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks ago, Jay Franzi did some new guys. Thanks for coming out tonight. Appreciate you guys. Jay Franzi did some new theme music for me. So you should, when I publish this one, you should go out and
I'll the squeeze there.
Catch the new theme. It's pretty good. He did pretty nice. It's all AI. It's all AI music. It's
I so don't get the AI thing.
Yeah. It's
Well, I did the whole create a caricature of yourself on ChatGPT the other day.
Did you? Yeah, everybody's
which
been
the rest of the world has done as well, and I was just like,
my God.
Hang on a minute, that's almost accurate. That's kind of scary.
It is kind of, no, it's a little gimmicky, from that, but the music, the music was good. I was like, we did a whole show where he started with one genre. He had written out some lyrics, and then he started with one genre, and then we moved through a whole bunch of different iterations of like, no, do it like this and do it like that. And we got to the end, I was like, it's pretty freaking good. Like,
nice.
I'd use that, So you have to have listened to it.
Yeah, well, I will. So what solar did you end up with?
With what one? Sorry.
So with your solar on the house.
Oh,
what did you end up doing?
So I did my own DIY, and I bought eco-worthy panels, and I just bought 6 100-watt 18-volt panels because I just really wanted to try this thing out. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to put 500-watt panels on the, out there, and some of those kinds of things. And then I'm running it into an EcoFlow battery that's got a 500-watt MPPT controller in it. And they're out on my front porch. I have an Anima. I didn't want them. I got a brand new roof, and I did not want to put them on the roof. So there's a perfect spot on the front of my porch where I can mount them, and then they can move.
Okay.
And so that it's just a small. I make 3 kilowatt hours a day, maybe, out of it, if I'm lucky. So that's
going into like a Blue Eddy or an EcoFlow or something like that.
It's going into an EcoFlow Delta 3, so it's got a 500-watt charge controller and kilowatt hour battery. Then I bought an extra kilowatt hour battery as extra storage for it, so I can store up to 2 kilowatt hours a day. That in theory that'll run like that would run an average office for a day, kind of thing,
so what's that connected to? That's like where do your batteries go from there?
So on in here that would be, and then I have a Blue Eddy a kilowatt hour battery too that's actually being charged by those two. So I have 3 kilowatt hours. But so all the monitors, so a couple monitors, the Mac Mini, my Unraid server, and then all the networking gear it's attached to. So it runs. So it'll run, and then the battery will, so during the day it charges it up to 100%, and then it flips it over and it just runs off the battery till it gets down to about 30%. And then, and that's sometime in the middle of the morning, like, all night, it just kind of runs down. And then 30%, it kicks on and it starts drawing from the grid again to augment. Then when the sun comes up, starts charging again, and then starts running those devices off the sun. So, I'm saving $30 a month, maybe $35-$40 a month by doing it that way. It'd take
money's money, right?
Yeah, I mean, at that point take 3 years to pay off the investment for 3 to 5 years actually to pay off that investment, whatever that I put into it. But it's fun.
It's fun. We're not allowed to touch anything grid grid voltage in
No,
Australia?
I'm not. Yeah, this is not attached to the grid at all. Let's be really
Oh,
clear.
okay.
Yeah, no, there's no grid here. This is all separate. So the PCs are completely on that and that alone, and then
Oh, so that
the
those.
battery's plugged into the grid.
Ah, yeah, got it. Righto.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So when the battery runs out of juice, so to speak, it gets down to 30%. I still want to use them as a battery backup, right? So
Yeah.
I don't want them to completely go to zero. But
So you're
they
kind
get
of
to
treating it like
30
you're kind of treating it like a bit of a UPS and a filter as well.
for
Then.
sure, 100%. So it's a UPS that charges itself. Is
Yep.
basically what
Yeah,
it
got
is.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, and it's
Well,
good enough. It taught me a lot. Like I wanted to go whole house, but
yeah,
I was like, I don't know anything about this. So before I
yeah,
went whole house, I was like, let's try a small scale one of these, you
yep.
know, before
Yeah,
I
cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
because we've
so
got
cool.
what 13.2 or 13.6 kilowatts on the roof of this place.
13?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 13.3
Yeah.
we've got roof, and
Yep.
we're about to stick on 48 kilowatt hours of battery,
Yep. Yeah.
which is one of the SIG and store units.
Yeah, do you know what your average daily usage is?
Let's have a look. So I'm still using PV output, which I was using when you and I were recording when the kids were babies.
Mhm.
Um, so yesterday we used 50 kilowatt hours and we generated 70.
Oh. Well, that's handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in a good you're in a pretty good spot there.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but
We
it was
didn't.
probably a good day, right? Yesterday was probably a good day, right?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Full
Yeah.
sun.
And today's crap.
Yeah.
Today we've only generated 11 so far.
And you're still connected to the grid in the sense that if you ran out of battery power, it would pull from the grid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So once those batteries are in, we should be charged by sort of because the sun's up here at 4:30 in the morning all year round.
Right. Right.
So we should be charged by midday. And keep them at 100% until the sun goes down, and then run the
Yeah.
house off at night.
Yeah.
And that'll give us full house UPS as well.
See, this is okay. This is how sick I am. This is how sick my brain is, right? I struggle with that. Like I want to match the perfect usage of the sun to the battery. Like I want it to get to 100% and it drives me crazy if I'm at 100% and it stops and I'm creating solar but it's not going anywhere. I lose my mind. You
Can you
know,
not sell it back to the grid in the States?
No, cuz it's not connected to the grid at all.
No, but I
That
mean,
part's
if you go to like roof hosted
No,
solar,
Nebraska does not allow that yet. So no.
that's the only way you can put it on in Australia.
Yeah.
If you go
Yeah.
back to
Well,
grid, yeah, that's weird, isn't
yeah,
it?
California is the same way, I think, and some of the other states, but Nebraska, we're not quite as progressive on
Yep.
that, and it's okay. Um, I'm not ready to go. You know, those are much more expensive um, options, and so I'm not ready to go there yet. Anyways, I was going to
Yeah.
see
Oh
what
no, that's fair. That's the product I'm looking at. So the SIG install.
I'm gonna log into my power company here really quick and tell you what I wonder what would you say your average daily was? Kilowatt hours?
Now I'm
Oh
going to
my
have to log into. Now I'm going to have to
god,
log into my
cow.
power company. Let's have a look.
Man, my work just went nuts.
That's not going to like that.
Let's see, let's get there. Because this is really this was the interesting part for me was figuring out just how much power I was using. Now, would you know what your price per kilowatt hour is there for your
23
electricity?
23 kilowatt hours, 23
23. Okay.
cents.
Mm-hmm. So you're double what we are.
Yeah, okay. And I think we're 92 cents or 94 cents or something to be connected per day.
Do you have does it vary by time? So
No,
is the day more expensive than night?
flat rate.
Flat rate. Okay. Okay.
If
So
it was, if I was on a variable, my night time would be something like 40 something, and day would be about the same as what it is now.
okay. Let's see. Monthly
So
average. My monthly average is 1,275 kilowatt hours.
yeah, see, ours is about 800.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know about your place. Every one of our lights is an LED downlight.
It's air conditioning that kills us here.
Oh,
That,
the aircon's
yeah,
brutal. Like
yeah,
we had family visiting last month and the month
Mhm.
before, and when that's on, even for a couple of hours every night, you know, the power bill goes from $100 a month to $200 a month.
Mhm.
And it's those $200 a month power bills that give you the incentive to put a battery in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, right on. But it just is one of those kinds of things, when you're thinking about
Oh,
putting
and you
stuff on the
know,
roof, right? I'm like, that's a lot of panels. If I was, but then your payoff is, for me, the electricity is so cheap that you're like, it never really actually pays for itself. You go through all this work, and then you're like, it's actually more
yeah.
expensive to put solar on.
So our system at our second place in Melbourne cost us 14 grand to put on.
Yeah.
We were there for 7 years and it paid itself off in 3.
Yeah. Well, you're at the double rate. You've got
Mm.
your payoffs, a lot quicker.
And that was getting 8 or 10 cents back onto the grid to feed back. Our place prior to that, when the kids were born, we had 4.5 on the roof there, and we were getting 68 cents a kilowatt hour on feed in. And we
I don't know why it's doing that. I do not know why it's doing that.
Yeah, and like we paid that one off. That we were there in that house for 7 years as well. That paid itself off in like 2.5. So we're kind of looking at the battery as a longer term proposition.
Yeah.
We might put more panels on at the same time, because we got 36 on the roof at the moment. We might throw another 15 or 20 on because we've got the roof space to do it.
Sure. If you got the space and you got the sunshine, might as well. And you can get the panels for cheap enough, right? I mean, it matters that many panels. It matters.
I think we're up for about 25 grand for the battery. And I think and probably another 10 if we put another 15 panels up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that'll double the size of our system as well.
Yeah, and then you'll be almost off grid.
Oh, you could turn it off at the meter box almost.
Yeah.
And they'll still charge us 92 cents a day.
So you're paying $30 a month, right? For
being connected to the grid.
Just to have the convenience of the power if you need it. From that standpoint, yeah.
Which is, I think that's pretty normal worldwide, really.
You could see my electricity dropping as I was making all these changes for the solar and stuff, and then I was like, I don't need this on, I don't need that on. We're gonna turn that off. That's not gonna work, or those kinds of things. And then in January, it got cold, and Sarah was running some electrical heat in the garage, and went right back up. You're like, oh, that makes me sad.
Yeah. Insulate that garage door.
I know. We don't use it that often, so it was just painting some things in there. Hey, if you're listening live, thanks for coming out. Good to see you guys tonight. Joe, Dan, Uncle Marv, Ken a little bit earlier. Thanks for coming out. I'm going to let you guys go. Andrew, hang tight for me 1 second. We'll see you next week with Aaron. Take care, everybody.